wondering what it's like to be able to create a passive residual income that pays you whether you go to work or not, it pays you while you're sleeping, it pays you while you're on vacation. I just took a trip recently, my wife and I, we have 6 kids between us, and we took all 6 kids on a cruise, and yes, we stayed in 2 rooms with little bunk beds in the cruise ship. It was tight quarters for a few days, but we had an absolute blast. And when I got back, I had made, more money than my trip cost me, which was pretty expensive. And I wanted to share with you how I got to this point in my life. Many years ago, I had my first taste of residual income. Let me go back to my first business. I started a restaurant business back in 1994, and I had 40 employees. I worked 90 to 100 hours a week, and I was just killing myself. I made a good living in the beginning. I didn't make so much in the end, but during that time, I was working 90 to 100 hours a week, and I just didn't get to know my family. I was working so much that I just didn't have any time to spend at home. And to be honest, I was in my mid-20s, and that never registered to me that might be important. I wasn't mature enough. I wasn't ready to accept the responsibility maybe of being a dad like I should have. But as we get older, we find out that the kids are only little for so long, and we've only got so much time with them. So I wanted to find a career that would allow me to be able to spend quality time with the people I love, because for me at least, family is the most important thing. And if you're in an occupation that doesn't allow for time freedom, it's about time that you look at it. And one of the things that I've been talking about is the book Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. And it says, why now is the time to crush it, cash in on your passion. And I read this on my cruise, and one of the things that it talked about was, what is your passion? That was a chapter that's in the book that really talks about what is your passion. And if you go to work every day and you just hate what you do, don't do that. I'm not saying go out and quit your job and put your family on welfare, but be looking for an exit strategy that helps you get into a position or an occupation that really focuses on your passion. And what Gary's talking about is, when we talk about our passion, he says whatever you can talk about and think of 50 different topics, whatever you talk about all day, every day, and you get excited about it, you're at parties, and it's something you just can't quit talking about. If it's a home-based business, if it's real estate, if it's opening up your own landscaping business, that's not a residual income business, mind you. But whatever your passion is, focus on that if you're wanting to build an online business. And for me, I really got to thinking on the cruise ship, I have a good online presence and it's doing very well. And I was just, I guess if you're anything like me, we second guess ourselves sometimes, and we think, what is our true passion in life? Well, I love real estate, and someday I think about doing real estate, but then I think about residual incomes. And my first taste of residual income was while I had the restaurant. I opened up a paging business that sold wireless phones, pagers, and then we got into satellite systems. And what was really cool about that kind of opened my eyes to residual income was the fact that if I sold a service, a cellular phone, a satellite system, as long as that customer paid their bill, I got paid on that month after month after month every time somebody paid that bill. I went on into the telecom business where we sold networks, phone systems, and we also sold telecom services like internet, dial tone, local and long distance. And every single month to this day that somebody pays their bill, it allows me to get an income from that. So I worked hard many years ago to create a nice business that pays me over and over and over. And that's what I've always focused my career on. Some people don't understand that, that trading time for money, to me, is not the best way to go. There are other occupations, like I mentioned, real estate, that can pay me very well. But for me, I wanted to focus on something that would allow me, if I needed to take downtime, I work very hard, don't get me wrong, but it would allow me to spend time when I wanted to take a cruise, to go to Universal, and still have an income whenever I got back. So that was powerful. So when I started thinking about this, I started thinking about real estate. I can't stand to see an abused woman or children. That's one of my passions, is to protect those people. I love to be a good dad. You know, that's one of my missions in life is to make a difference in my kids' life and, you know, for people that I meet. So another passion of mine is to help people build their own, just to understand residual income, to create their own business. I've started several businesses in my lifetime and I've been reasonably successful, and I want to give that out to the masses, give that out to the world if I can. So as I looked at that, what I'm doing now is my passion. You know, I get to wake up every day, I work with my sister, I work with my best friends that I've known for years, and that's who I talk to on a regular basis about my business. But to see them do well, you know, in their own business is very satisfying for me. And if I can help people, I've helped a lot of young people, you know, in their 20s, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, make extra income outside of their normal profession. That is my passion. That's what I focus on. That's what my blog talks about. So whatever it is, just take a moment to think about what you could talk about all day, every day that really gets you excited. And like Gary Vaynerchuk says, he's a funny guy. If you haven't seen him, look up Gary Vaynerchuk or winelibrary.tv. And this is a very passionate guy. He cusses a lot. He says F-bombs quite a bit. And, you know, he says, you know, quit your job and all that. He's a little bit more over the top than I would be on that subject matter. But, you know, here's a guy that in his 20s started working for his parents at a liquor store and took $1 million business into a $50 million business, and then went out on his own to create winelibrary.tv. And he's just an amazing guy on the internet. But I think this book, number one, will help you start to understand that, you know, websites can be a passive residual type business. My website, you're watching this video right now, that's a form of a residual type business or a passive type business that will create income. We set content out there on our websites. We put videos out there on YouTube, and those get played over and over and over and over, which will feed back to your original blog or your website. So, you know, my advice to you in leaving is focus on whatever excites you the most. Don't settle for what you're doing right now. You really don't have to. And I want to leave you with one more thing. When I first started, I thought nobody would want, you know, why does anybody want to listen to what I have to say? It's, you know, I'm just Dean, you know, I'm just a guy. And, you know, back in November of last year, I really focused on, okay, I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to learn as much about internet marketing as I can, and I'm going to give that away. Anything that I've got in my head, I don't want to be a guru. I don't want to be a trainer that just gets paid to train people. I want to give that information out for free to empower others to live the life that I've had. And that is, it's just so refreshing to be able to take, you know, my family and my kids, we take 10 vacations a year, many ones sometimes, but, you know, weekend trips. But it's so nice to be able to have that regular income and the freedom, no bosses, no headaches. It's just me now, and I sell affiliate programs, and it's been just, you know, I love my life, and I hope the same for you. And if I can do anything for you, please let me know. Visit DeanEtheridge.com and sign up for my Journey to a Million series. I think you'll really enjoy it, and I think it'll help you achieve true residual income. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, everybody.